Heyooo, Vasto here. So today I wanted to talk about something that I'm pretty sure we all can relate to, and something that most of us, if not all of us, are really attracted to this subject, and that is money. What do we really know about money? How does it work? What is it? What's the magic behind it, you know? And I'm just gonna throw a number out there. $1 million, right? I'm pretty sure, like what I said, everybody, most of us would love to have $1 million. Would love to make $1 million. And I remember a couple of years ago, I started pondering upon this subject, like, oh, how can I make $1 million? How can I start to make money? How can I develop a business and all this and whatnot? And I would just go around in circles and circles and circles in my head, talking with myself. I would talk to my families, my brothers, and anybody I could find. And I remember stumbling upon a thought I had, and it really stayed with me. It really made me think the whole idea about money. And it was this: if you can convince 1 million people to each of them give you $1, you would have $1 million. And the idea seems pretty simple. I mean, and it's just $1. Most people aren't that needy. I mean, aren't that attached to a dollar. You know, like you can see bums or homeless people around. They would ask for money, and I'm pretty sure they could find a couple of people that would like give him $1, just $1. But if you can convince 1 million people to each give you $1, you have $1 million. And that idea just stayed with me. Like it really stuck. It was stuck in my head. It was like, and I kept thinking about it, and I started playing a little bit with the numbers. I kept dividing different numbers between the $1 million, and I sort of made like this little graph here, and I want to show you guys, just to show you a little bit like how tricky and fun this can actually be, you know, when you start playing with the numbers and whatnot. Let me show you guys. So this is my workspace, and this is the graph that I made. All right. So at the top, you can see there's a little money symbol and the word people on it. On the left side, it symbolizes the number of dollars, and on the right, it's the number of people. Basically, you multiply these in order to reach $1 million. So on the first part, you have $1, and you would need to ask 1 million people for $1, and you would have $1 million. If you go to the second line, you see it's $2. And here's the really cool part. Like if you start asking for $2 instead of one, you only need half of the people. I mean, it seems pretty obvious, but when you write it down in the paper and you see these numbers like this, it's like, whoa, that's 500,000 less than the original. And if you go to $5 per people, you would only need 200,000, sorry. And then you go to $10, it's 100,000. $20 is 50,000. $50, it's 20,000. $100 is 10,000 people. $200 is 5,000 people. $500, you would need 2,000 people. And $1,000, you would need 1,000 people. And this is where it gets really cool, because after this mark here, the thousand mark, down here the numbers are the same as the one at the top, but they switch. And so if you can see right above the 1,000 mark, you needed $500, right? And you need 2,000 people. But if you start using $2,000, you ask $2,000, I mean, you would only need 500 people. The same with 5,000, you would need 200. $10,000, you would need 100 people. 20,000, you would need 50 people. 50,000, you would need 20. 100,000 you would need 10, 200 you would need 5, and 500,000 you would need 2. And with $1,000,000, well, you only need one person. Let me just take this up so you can see the full picture. If you guys want, you can take a screenshot of this so you can study it more. And as you can see, it's like a pyramid shape, and it's the same numbers. And between the middle, they just change places, and it's really cool. I mean, it's pretty obvious thinking. I mean, but when, like I said, when you read it in paper and you see these numbers like this, it's like, wow, that's pretty interesting, you know. So after looking at this graph, like, what do we really know about how money works, you know? And there's so many ways you can make $1,000,000. You don't have to just ask $1 per people. You can mix it up. Like maybe if I ask 500,000 people for $1, and then ask 250,000 people for $2, and you have the same result. And you can mix it up with these numbers and equations and whatnot. And I had a lot of fun with it, you know, just looking at these numbers and really changing the idea of how to make money. And as I was thinking about this, I started to ask myself too, I mean, what is money? Why is it here? And I came to realize that money isn't really what's valued. Money is not really valuable. Money is just an interpretation of the value that we give things. So in other words, we ourselves, we people, we human beings, we are the currency, not money, because we determine the value of everything. Let's say, let me give you an example. You have a t-shirt, plain t-shirt, right? They're two t-shirts, right? They're both made of the same material, cotton. They're both white. It's exactly the same material, exactly the same size. They're exactly the same shirts, the same. One is just a blank shirt, and one has a little logo with a little crocodile on it, right? So what's the difference here? The one that doesn't have anything might cost you like $5, $10, maybe less. But the one with the crocodile maybe would be like $100, $200, $1,000 for a t-shirt. And it's the exact same thing. So why is it that one is more valuable than the other? And on a bigger scale too, like it's a complete difference from $5 to $100. And so I kept thinking about this idea, and I started to realize that value isn't something that's fixed onto something. Value can always change, you know, and we determine that value. And the same thing could be applied to paintings. You know, sometimes you see a painting and you see like, well, I could do that. That looks like a kindergarten could do that, like a 3-year-old could do that. And another person might see it and be like, wow, that's worth $1,000,000, or that's worth $15 million, or that's worth $20 million, or that's worth $100,000. And while you're sitting here, be like, I wouldn't even pay $5 for that piece of crap. But that's the thing. Since value isn't fixed, it's always interchanging. It always changes depending on the person. You know, like I might make a painting, right? Let's say I make a painting with just a little dot. This is my painting. I call it Dot. So I want to sell this painting for $1,000,000 or more. I'm not settling for less, right? That's good. So the idea here is to know who you're gonna sell it to know who you're gonna sell your idea to, or to know who you're gonna convince. You're not gonna go to Juan del Pueblo. That's a saying, like, for a normal like person that doesn't, it's really cheap, he doesn't even have $20 to spare, he's not gonna spend $1 million on a painting. And you might convince him, like I said, you might convince the person that it's worth $1 million, but he doesn't even have $20 to spare. He can't buy the painting for $1 million. And so you would find somebody with the right amount of money, somebody who's pretty wealthy, somebody who has appreciation for art or whatever, just somebody that can actually pay the money that you're looking for. And let's say you go to like some king in some random castle and you go show them the painting, like, here's Dot, I made this. This is a work of art. Like, you have no idea. This is a one of a kind work. It really symbolizes all this bunch of crap. I don't really know what I'm saying, blah blah blah. But you convince him of the value, and you make him see that, wow, this painting of this Dot, this is worth $1 million. Or it's even worth more than $1 million. It's worth $50 million. And we can really apply that to anything. Anything you do, anything you make, anything, you can apply it to that. It's all a matter of convincing the people of the value that it has, or that you have for it, or that, you know. It's pretty cool. It's pretty crazy. Like I said, like, we have this idea about money and how it works, but do we really know how it works? And money is just a representation of the value we give things. So instead of thinking about how do I make $1 million, how do I convince people of the value that I have that's worth $1 million or more? Yeah.